Oh, there we are.
Hey,
There's
Dave.
something. Yeah, this thing's been giving me all kinds of problems this morning. I don't know what's happening with it. Okay, cool. Well, let's get cracking.
Everyone's kind of been asking where this project came from, and to me, it really started with the mid pivot and your dual-idler system, which we obviously started chatting about years ago.
Yeah.
And really, which was all about performance and the opportunities that brought from a kinematic and a suspension point of view.
Yeah, so you and I, I think you're right. This project really kind of kicked off in 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And, all the pieces kind of came together in 2024. I was fortunate, I guess I'm fortunate to be old and having grown up on downhill bikes, the worst downhill bikes, perhaps, or in the late 90s, early 2000s. And one of my good buddies was a Balfa importer. So I got a chance to spend a lot of time on a BB7 right out of the gate. And so I back-to-back would run a DHI, a Foes low pivot bike, and a BB7, which is like a super high pivot bike, we'll call it. And they all did things differently, but I will say one thing I knew right away is that the Balfa did not corner. It just didn't corner. Like, you just could not, it didn't care, I don't care how strong you are, you just can't muscle that thing around a corner. Like, you're just not big enough. You can't get your weight enough back far enough to move the rear wheel around. So the rear is just stuck, and not in a great way. And that kind of stuck with me over time, and that really kind of pushed me into, the path that I went down, really starting to try to understand how riders and bikes work together, how we're really taking time out of a race course, on World Cup downhill course, and how different riders do that, right? And it just kind of, it was great for me to internalize those different ride feels myself, and then try to apply that to, how racers are doing it, and then what I could do from a suspension standpoint or from a bike architecture standpoint to help or hurt, and what the kind of compromises are. And there always are compromises, right? From Atherton standpoint, like we have years of dialing in where we want to have our leverage ratios and work with the dampers that we're using. We have years of working with the springs we're using. We have years of working on chassis balance and stiffness. And I think people don't understand, looking at the bike, how much time and effort has gone into stiffness balance. Like, it's probably the biggest and most important and most time-consuming thing that we've done.
Yeah.
Obviously from a suspension standpoint and all the other measurables, and even the measurables that we don't really talk about, I think we have years of dialing that in, and there weren't like huge gains or modifications that we wanted to make. But I knew for a fact that there was ability to, there was time to take out by pushing the axle path to a place that wasn't too rearward, also wasn't too forward, and still be able to use the larger diameter wheels that we were working with, right? And frankly, if we could fit a 29-inch rear wheel under our riders, that would be a benefit too, but we can't. Just literally, it's too large. I'd say that's my favorite part of this project is like, this thing started blue sky. Nothing was off the table. Like, this was as fully custom as you can imagine, fully custom drivetrain, like everything, including gates, pinion, Atherton. And we were able to engineer that thing to a really simple solution using a lot of off-the-shelf parts.
Yeah.
And it seems, I think, from the outside, you would look at it and say, like, oh, yeah, they just took this and this and this, and it was super easy, and they just kind of made it like that. It's great. Yeah, easy. I could do that in my sleep. I'm like, okay. Yeah, best of luck. Interest has been crazy. Like, I've been surprised. I don't know. I didn't really expect there to be any interest in this as a saleable product. I thought it was kind of just something we were doing to push the limits of the sport, and, pleasantly surprised.
I want to go riding, let's go. Guys from Fox have come down at Dyfi Bike Park, got a couple of days testing coming up, got a new shock, so yeah, just going through the motions with that. There's quite a few different tunes to try, and just try and get it somewhere handy really, I suppose, and just try a lot of different stuff, see what feels good, see what's not working, and yeah, that's the general plan, I think. We've got some of the youth guys here as well, or juvenile, I think they are. So they're going to be trying to, I don't know if it's wisdom or useless, but we'll see. George is here as well, so yeah, we've got a good crew. So yeah, should be a good couple of days. Finally, we're getting to ride. Less faff, more ride. Let's go.
Twitchy.
I don't know. Yeah, I like to leave as close to the bars.
Alright, so we'll probably we'll do yours.
Super glued and planted, silent. That's all I've got for you so far.
Nice. The best way to describe it is, you know, when you're riding, you feel the bumps through your feet. This, you don't feel anything. So it's literally like you don't get any feedback, so it just feels so smooth. Then it just gets to a point where you start to get a bit sketchy.
But then there's probably this balance of like knowing that to go faster you need to go firmer, but like it might not be it's not where we have to start practice at.
Yeah, definitely. But it's finding the balance between harshness and harshness and firmness. That's what the balance is hard to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we shall get there.
We shall concur.
With your love and support, we will get there. Cheers. Cheers.
God bless.
Peace out.
Right, we have got some new shocks from Fox. 2026. So basically now, rather than the rebound compression being separate to two separate compression stacks, it's now one, and everything's a bit bigger, more shim stacks, so it's quite good. It's more tunable, I think, and we seem to like it. The ride characteristics are quite different, so it's like more linear is the best way to describe it, I think, whereas the other one would be like super soft and then ramp up, so this one's a bit more linear on our bike anyway, which is what we wanted, which is good. So Taj and Jules have driven down from sunny Scotland, and we've been playing around with a few different tunes. So we built the bike and then obviously had the shock that we've been riding for the last year or two, configuration of the shock we've been riding for the last year or two. Basically, we've had these feeling like what we felt, and then when Fox bought us this new shock, it kind of solved a few of those issues. A few other, obviously, when you fix one thing, sometimes another thing occurs. So like now we're looking for a little bit more small bump sensitivity, which is what we're going to do with this new tune tomorrow. But we've solved the like blowing through issue of what the old shock used to be a bit pronoun for. It's quite a firm compression tune, and today with Charlie we found that we went a bit softer, and then we're going to go somewhere in the middle. So we've kind of done a load of the legwork for George tomorrow, so we can just put him straight away on the shock that Charlie's come to think is the best, and then all is good.
So we've tested a few tunes today with Charlie, and we really liked one, but then when we started to push, we went up to like a slightly firmer compression tune, and then we're kind of going a little bit in the middle for tomorrow and see what he thinks. The riders seem to like it. They feel like the bike's planted on the ground, and it doesn't get as harsh when turning the compression clicks, so the compression is more usable for the rider. This should get us kind of in the middle of the range, and then when he starts to push at a race, he can close up the clickers if he needs to get on the podium, win 100 grand.
We're going to try all of these on the bike at once. Everyone gets a shot. Charlie Hatton. What was the score on that one, Taj?
6.2.
Oh,
Deep. You're so blind at the takeoff, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
With the sun in your eyes, just like, ah. No, I think what we're trying to get, obviously, is it to go as fast as possible. Sometimes, something I think recently, the firmer it is, the faster it is, but there's a balance. Because you have it firm for big compressions, and then obviously you compromise then on other bits, so it's really just trying to find the balance, which is quite hard. But we've, I've not. The boys have done some magic overnight, so hopefully we're going to try that shock now, and hopefully it's on paper it's what we want, so we'll give it a go. Oh, come on. Put it on. There's multiple tunes you can try on the shop, and we're just trying to figure out which tune suits our bike best. And then, well, I mean, the guys will be able to tell you more in depth about it, but there's like 4 different things you can change in the tune as well. So it's not just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6 or 7 of this thing, 6 or 7 of this thing, 6 or 7 of this thing. So it's quite a lot. So I mean, as a rider, I just sort of ride what feels good and what's fastest, and I feed that back to them, and then they can change it accordingly to what my feedback is. But yeah, from first run yesterday, not first run, but from yesterday, yeah, definitely made some progress. So that's always nice.